Okay, so today we're going to talk about one of my favorite roles in Town of Salem, the vigilante. Now, you all know the rules. We're going to ask 3 questions. Is it balanced? Is it fun? And does it fit the vibe of the game? So, let's first talk about the history of the vigilante. Vigilante is a Town of Salem 1 role. Vigilante is a role that came from Town of Salem 1 base game that had one very specific design: to kill evils and to be punished for killing good people, townies. Let me explain. If you were in a game and you had a jailer and a vigilante, you had killing power of 2 players. Now, if you were suspicious of a player, you had more time to look at their logs, and you had a little bit more time to make a decision if to kill somebody or not. That is what made the difference between vigilante and jailer. Jailer is distracted by the player. The player talks to the jailer. Jailer thinks if I should kill or not. It is stronger because you also roll block, but vigilante has the ability to just kill and not think about it. They could hide from mafia a little bit better than pretty much any other role. But they had one caveat. They had to wait 1 night before they shot. In the Coven, it pretty much got better because there were more evils to shoot. And then we came into Town of Salem 2. Now, a while ago, it was put into modded that a change had to be done because vigilante was just way too powerful, and due to retributionists having the ability to abuse it, and necromancer as well, it was basically a role that you could shoot even in death. In fact, retributionist with vigilante was stronger than just regular vigilante. So what happened? The developers, Tuba and Curtis, both decided to pretty much change the basic element of the role. In Town of Salem 1, there was a joke going around that night 1, you weren't waiting, you were reloading. And everybody would write in their will, reloading. And what happened? Well, it basically turned the term from a joke into reality. What does that mean? Just like the trapper who has to wait a night between actions, the vigilante has to do the same. Only difference is, vigilante gets the ability to stock up on every single bullet. Trapper does not. Trapper doesn't just wait 1 night, wait 2 nights, and then shoot 2 traps. That would be way too powerful. What vigilante does, unlike trapper, is it can not shoot night 1, load, not shoot night 2, load, not shoot night 3, load, and then go on a bam, 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 bam killing spree. And that's what made vigilante such a beloved role, and it nerfed it to a necessary point. And again, we're not going to talk about the hangman because the hangman is not necessary, but before this nerf, hangman would kill the vigilante if it got the wrong shot. So now that we got that out of the way, let's ask these next questions. Is it balanced? And I'm going to say yes, it is very balanced. Even with dying, even without dying, I think it was always a balanced role. It just got more balanced. Let me explain. The ability to kill is incredible. Like as a townie, trapper needs to go through the motions of guesswork. Is 8 an actual town power? I put it on them. Will the Coven or will the serial killer come and attack them? Yes, yes, no, no. Perfect roll. Now, with the nerf, there comes also some losses. Now, one of the big losses is for the necromancer and the retributionist. Because that vigilante now shoots and doesn't die, it does 2 things. 1, loses the ability to shoot. Can be a good thing. Let's say you shot the sheriff and you're basically useless, and then you die the same night, or you die the next night. You lose the ability to shoot. You decided to put your gun away. What does that mean? If there's a necromancer, they can't use you. That's 1 less killing power for them. Plus, let's say you shoot the sheriff, you weren't sure about it, and they turned out to be townie, and then suddenly you can't shoot anymore. You're still confirmed in the game, so I think that it is balanced no matter which direction you took it. Now let's ask the next question, is it fun? And my answer to that is yes, it is very fun. Waiting a night is worth it because you get to actually influence the game. There's so much versatility to the role. Let me explain. Let's just say night 1 you're witched. It no longer matters anymore. So that's a buff to the role because that you're still loading a bullet into the gun. Because that all which does is forces you to use your ability in the direction that it wants. If you can't visit, nothing you can do. All you need to do is make sure you shoot Knight 2. And then Witch can't use you Knight 3 because you will not be able to be Witched Knight 2 after being Witched Knight 1. So that comes for its benefit. You have the ability to use your brain and figure out who is evil. What do I mean by that? One of the things that makes a role like Doomsayer and Ritualist so powerful is based on the player. Is it able to read the cues, the subtle little hints that every single player is giving? Now, obviously, you can't exactly get every single thing right in the game because if you were able to do that, you'd be a god player, and nobody can do that. Nobody. And you're just looking for those little hints. Let's just say somebody is acting a little bit too much like how you would act as Coven, you know, to shoot them. Let's just say you have somebody evil who is acting like how you would act as a good person, like a psychic, you know, to shoot them. There is every single reason to use your bro on people you suspect. You're always taking the game to the next level. You're always affecting the game, even if you get it wrong. Even if you go into veteran, you're always affecting the game. Now, we got to ask the last question. Does it fit the vibe of the game? So I'm going to take this into two different ways. The first one is mechanic-wise, and the second one is theme-wise. Mechanic-wise, it fits the vibe of the game perfectly. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. It's not just the fact that it can shoot. It's the fact that it shoots the way that it does. You do not have powerful attack. You do not have infinite attacks. You just have an attack that you wait, you charge, you go, you hit. And you have the ability to shoot people you suspect, meaning you are basically like a pseudo jailer. If you are a vigilante and there is a tavern keeper in the game and you both go to the same person, you're both doing the exact role of a jailer. Because yes, a lot of times one of the things that differentiates the jailer with the vigilante and tavern keeper is the ability to talk to the player. But a lot of times it's also one of the things that keeps the vigilante and tavern keeper better because they don't need to listen to the lies anymore. Because a lot of things that keeps a lot of players in the back is the fact that they're all the time second guessing themselves. Sometimes you just gotta be a straight shooter. In this one game that I had with Tuba, I did not second guess myself. I shot the person who claimed TK who I thought was acting extremely suspicious. They were my obvious CC, which is counterclaim. And it paid off huge because they ended up being the mayor ET, which stands for town traitor, which basically ended the game. Now, let's talk about the other part. Does it fit the vibe of the game theme-wise? And I'm going to say not really. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that I think that Vigilante needs to change or anything. I'm just being critical where I can be critical. I'm looking to be critical where I can. A vigilante is somebody who looks to rid evils, obviously, without the town's consent, but they aren't afraid to go over the law. And the fact that they get guilt, you know, the fact that they put away their gun if they do the wrong thing doesn't really fit the theme of the vigilante. I'm not saying that they need to change that. I do not want them to change that, not at all. But I do think that you do need to call it out because it's not. When you think of a vigilante, you're thinking of people like Batman, or to my South Park homies out there, Mysterion. But you're not thinking of, Town of Salem vigilante. Oh no, they shot the wrong person. They should feel guilty. I personally don't think that fits the theme of the role too much. But that's just like me being picky and just looking for something to criticize it. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody who can change the role is listening, do not change the role because of that. That was just like an observation that I made because that obviously, you know, you have to criticize it on everything, on every level. Doesn't mean that it needs to change. I'm just saying theme-wise, it doesn't really fit the vibe of the game. But that's all I have to say about Vigilante. I think it's a perfect role. I think it is perfect the way it is. It was perfect the way it was. And either way, the role is good. I do not think that anything needs to change. And yeah, that's about it.